Hello everyone, back on another Robert Monroe Gateway experience. We're still on the discovery phase. Now the funny thing is I actually already went over tape 3 of discovery. And this is the one where you basically need to get your body into a very relaxed state, but then imagine a flowing of relaxation going down from the very top of your scalp all the way to the bottom of both your feet, and then turning that into sort of like a swirling bubble around you. And the funny thing was I actually did this on my hour-long break at work after eating my lunch, because I had a lot of time, and I thought, well, what better way than to spend it trying to do a gateway experience tape. Now, the thing was, even though I didn't need to use the restroom or break that one like I did the second tape, the problem was I was doing it while sitting up, and I think you're probably more likely to have a more profound experience if you're doing it lying down, because I found as the tape was going on, especially near the end, I started to bob up and down, even though to me I was still in a mentally, my mind is awake, but my body was starting to kind of limber down in a falling asleep state. So when you're watching a lecture like at school or any lecture really, and maybe it starts getting boring and you're trying to stay up to show your respecting, but at the same time or at least paying attention, but then you're having difficulty staying up because, I don't know, maybe the lecture's just not that interesting. You start bobbing your head well, that's pretty much how I would describe what it was like trying to meditate through the Robert Monroe Gateway tape number 3 for discovery while sitting up. I feel like if I was laying down and doing it, because I'm not trying to consciously keep my back straight and stay up, I could get into a more deeper sense of relaxation, allowing for a more profound experience. So I'm going to do all future Gateway experience tapes just laying down. Once again, much like how tape 2, I didn't feel like I gave that one a fair shake. Tape 3, even though I didn't need to use the restroom at all throughout the entire experience, and I feel like I started to somewhat visualize around the end of it. I don't exactly remember, just swirliness, behind my closed eyes kind of thing, but more like a silhouette, slightly purplish bluish hued looking swirls, and that was it. So nothing really, insane, but I feel like if I do it right now with this mental clarity, it's currently 5:27 p.m. in the afternoon on the 27th of July 2026 on a Monday. I feel like I'm going to really lock it in. So I'm going to do that right now, and then I'm going to get back to you. See you there. All right, just finished tape number 3 of the discovery section of the Monroe Gateway tape experience. And what was it like? Well, I guess I could go play of what exactly happened and then describe how I felt throughout each section of the experience. So I'm going to do that right now. So, of course, it all starts with creating your energy conversion box and then putting all of your worries and concerns in the box and not needing them, because those will only get in the way of the experience. I presume, of course, this means, well, you don't want to worry about anything when you're trying to put all of your focus and attention on being in this pure state of meditation and just being present in the moment, is why I think he always brings that up at the start. So, of course, I did that. I was thinking about things like, I gotta get chores done, I may need to go to work tomorrow, stuff like that. And once everything was put into the energy conversion box, I raised that heavy lid mentally, and I always think about turning a crank, and the lid is made of concrete, and it slowly goes up, and then it just immediately drops in, or maybe not drops in, but in. And then once it reaches the top, there's little locks that you can see where it just locks in, little cylinders that pop in there. And that's what I imagine the experience of the energy conversion box to be. Of course, this doesn't completely eliminate any worries or concerns, because I found that some often cropped up in my head as I was going throughout the meditation experience. And so the way I dealt with that is I imagined kind of like Dumbledore in the fifth Harry Potter movie or book, I guess, or was it the sixth one, where he has like little like worms that he pulls out of his like head and puts into like a bowl. I think that's what happened. That's what I imagine. Like, I imagine a little bright like worm of worry coming out of my head and me pulling it out and putting it in like a little tube that feeds the conversion box. That's how I imagine it plays out whenever there's just some random concerns that pop into my head when I'm trying to be fully present in the meditation. And then after that, it was time for the resonant tuning section, where I simply had to breathe from the bottom of my belly all the way to my chest, or at least that's how I do it. And then when I release that stale, used up energy, I hum with the humming like voices in the video. So basically something like this. And so something like that. And that happened for a bit of a while. And then once that was over, I remember he stated, Mr. Monroe in the tapes stated, to imagine you're having this kind of wave of a energy bubble you're creating that starts from the top of your head, and it kind of floats down throughout your body and all the way to the very bottom of the soles of your feet, both your feet. And the funny thing was, with the video, they have this kind of ocean sort of like whoosh playing. So I imagine anytime they had that whoosh sound, that it was like the layer or a wave of what I can normally describe as relaxation going from the top of my head all the way to the bottom of my feet. And then after that, he stated, okay, what you want to do now after you've experienced that is do something similar, but instead of just sort of a even wave of energy going throughout your body, to instead like create it like it's this wavy line that's creating sort of a bubble around you that goes all the way to the bottom of your feet. So the way I imagined it was like just a straight bubble, or not bubble, but line going around, leaving like sort of a bubble force field around me. And once it reaches my feet, it splits into two separate like lines that go to the bottom soles of my feet that are all spread out because I'm trying to be relaxed. And I imagine it sort of was this like, bubble of energy that was encompassing me, kind of like this. So that's what that was like. And apparently in the video, he stated that you want to do this because it creates sort of like this bubble of pure energy surrounding you that is filled with your own radiation or something like that. And when you have all of that energy surrounding you, it's much easier to get into a state where you feel safe and ready to direct your energy. So that's what I just finished. And Robert Monroe stated in the tape that if you ever want to recreate this sort of energy bubble, all you need to do is take a deep breath from the bottom of your gut all the way to the, your chest, and then to your top lungs, your head. And when you breathe out, think of like an O surrounding you, and you should have your energy bubble appearing around you. And then afterwards, you stated to go into focus 10, the 10 state, where you're supposed to basically put every single individual piece of your body asleep, like your toes, your feet, your calves, your upper legs, your torso, lower torso, top torso, arms, hands, fingers, neck, and head. I remember when he first introduced this, you need to relax your face first with your cheek muscles and your nose muscles and your eyes, and then like the muscles behind your eyes and your eyelids. The weird thing is, whenever this part shows up, I swear to goodness, I feel like my eyelid muscles just start to constrain and tighten just a little bit, to the point where like it's distracting me from fully relaxing. Like, I feel because I'm putting so much attention on trying to relax every part of my face, that my eyes turn into this rebellious sort of like thing where like, oh no, you ain't. And then it starts like slightly tightening, and like I start focusing on that instead of just focusing on fully relaxing, not allowing that to get in the way of the experience. So that's definitely something I feel like that needs to be worked on to fully get into that relaxed state. And then, you carry that to your forehead, and then your scalp with relaxation, and your brain, suck all that relaxation inwardly into your head. And you kind of have that link to each individual part of your body until you're in a fully relaxed body, asleep, mind awake sort of state. And once you have reached that point through your headphones where you're kind of hearing these sounds, and your brain's kind of transmogrifying that into one sound for you. And then here was the next thing he said. What happens after that is that now, if you ever want to instantly get into focus 10, to simply just take a deep breath, much like creating the energy circle around you. Take a deep breath from the bottom of your belly all the way to your head. Think of the number 10, or say the number 10 in your head, and then breathe out, and it should allow you to get into focus 10 very easily, now that you are fully aware. So apparently, that's going to help. And then I was pretty much left alone in focus 10 state after he constantly reassured at least 2 or 3 times, when you breathe from the bottom all the way to the top, and then think of 10, and then breathe out, you'll be in a focus 10 state. He pretty much cut out from there, and then it was, there was this in-between moment between when he mentioned focus 10 and the energy circle around you. After the energy circle, before going into the whole focus 10 exercise, he said that I'm going to count to 10, and your body should be in a full awake physical state, where both your mind and your body are in a fully alert, awake state. And they said, okay, now we're going to focus 10 after the energy circle thing, and you should go back to a fully relaxed state. So it was kind of off-on switch thing there, which I thought was kind of interesting. And then after that, I just remember the binaural beats playing for an extended period of time, and simply just being in that state of deep relaxation and calmness, until eventually he finally said, okay, I'm going to count from 10 to 1, and by then you will be fully awake, refreshed, and alert, and all of your senses will be operating at completely and wholly. And so he counted from 10 to 1. So as he was doing that, I was just imagining like sort of this energy ball inside of my middle torso, and it just kind of slowly like growing and kind of expanding and activating each part of my body that the ball was touching, until eventually I was fully awake. And they said that's the end of the exercise. And that was pretty much my experience going forward. I remember nearing the end that my legs, my feet, the heels of my feet felt like they were really digging into the floor I was laying on, because I was trying to lay on the floor this time around. Maybe I should lay on a more comfortable soft surface next time I do this, because when my heels dig in the floor, it kind of reminds me I'm still there, and it takes away from being fully present in this whole meditative state. So that's definitely something I'm going to consider moving forward. I also kept on, but at least twice felt like I needed to stretch my arms like a little bit, and then stop stretching it around midway through the exercise. So I thought that kind of took me out of being in that deep relaxed state and forced me to be in that physical reality for moments. So little bits that kind of took away from that experience. But overall, the best way I can describe this Tape 3 experience was that it was sort of a good way of prepping my mind for when he says you will enter focus 10 or create your energy bubble, what to do in those circumstances, future tapes going forward. And hopefully, now that I know what to do, maybe do a full body stretch before doing the gateway experience. And then finding a more soft surface to lay on so my heels don't feel like they're digging on the floor, like perhaps my bed right there, or simply putting like pillows under my feet right when I'm about to do the experience or what have you, then perhaps we're going to have a more, at least more relaxed experience. Because it wasn't as deep as I would have liked it to be. But that's pretty much my experience with tape 3 of Discovery, and I'm looking forward to seeing where these tapes go, and I'll keep you posted. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye!